Humans walked out of the assembly, terrifying everyone in the galaxy. The Galactic Assembly was the biggest place anyone could imagine. It floated above the bright core world of the Conquered, a planet so rich with light that it could be seen from many star systems away. Hundreds of species filled the enormous chamber. Strange shapes and colors moved across the room. Some had 6 arms, some had wings, and some floated without any legs at all. Every one of them carried their own beliefs, their own pride, and their own fears about humanity. Humanity had been part of the assembly for only 12 cycles, a very short time. Many delegates did not trust humans. They called Earth a death world, a place where only the strongest could survive. Many laughed when humans claimed they could manage in galactic politics. Many more whispered that humans were too violent, too stubborn, and too unpredictable. The humans came quietly. No banners, no loud speeches. They came in the usual black suits of formal diplomacy. Daniel Brooks, the president of Earth, led them. He walked slowly and carefully, keeping his calm face as he always did. Behind him, Ambassador Olivia Grant followed, her eyes sharp, noticing everything. Admiral Ethan Cole, their silent military advisor, moved with precision. And Maya Collins, the youngest human representative, trailed just behind, her jaw set tight but her eyes bright with anger. The assembly began with routine greetings and minor votes. It all seemed normal at first. But then the Virelian hegemony, a large and proud species, stood up. Their leader, a tall being with deep green skin and shining eyes, began speaking in a loud, commanding voice. "We must pass the stability directive," the Virelian said. "Humanity has grown too fast. Their fleets have expanded, their AI systems have advanced, and their colonies spread in ways that endanger trade and peace. We cannot allow this to continue." He looked around at the chamber. "We propose limits. Limits on ship production, limits on military power, and limits on artificial intelligence oversight. We do this not to punish, but to protect the galaxy from instability." Some species clapped politely. Others whispered angrily. Many smaller species looked unsure. No one liked being told what to do, and no one liked humans, but many depended on them for trade and security. Daniel Brooks listened carefully. He did not interrupt. Olivia Grant's hands rested lightly on the railing before her. Maya Collins's fists clenched and unclenched at her sides. Admiral Cole did not move a muscle. They all remained quiet, and this silence made some delegates nervous. It was different from what they expected. Most thought humans would shout, argue, or beg, but they did nothing. The Virelian leader continued, growing more confident. He pointed at human representatives. "We act in fairness, we act in peace, but if humans wish to ignore these rules, they show the galaxy their true nature. I hope they choose wisely." The chamber fell silent. Every eye turned to the humans. All waited for a response. Finally, the vote began. One by one, species cast their decision. Lights flickered to show yes or no. Slowly, the votes stacked against humanity, overwhelmingly against humanity. Maya Collins's eyes narrowed. She wanted to shout, to argue, but Daniel Brooks gently put a hand on her shoulder. She froze, caught between anger and duty. The vote was clear. Humanity had been overruled. The aliens waited for the humans to react. Some expected protests, some expected pleading. Some expected a show of force. Daniel Brooks stood. The chamber hushed. He spoke slowly and clearly. "We thank the assembly for its clarity." He did not raise his voice. He did not argue. He did not plead. Then, one by one, every human representative rose from their seats. Slowly, deliberately, they turned and began to walk out of the chamber. The aliens stared. Some laughed nervously, thinking it a strange act of defiance. Others whispered, confused. Some felt a chill. The walkout was quiet, but it was full of meaning. Olivia Grant walked steadily, her eyes scanning the room. She did not look angry. She did not look afraid. She simply walked. Admiral Cole followed without a word. His presence alone made some delegates shift in their seats. He had a reputation as a man who rarely acted, but when he did, the results were always decisive. Maya Collins walked with her head held high. Anger flashed in her eyes, but she kept calm. She knew the galaxy was watching, and she wanted every step to speak. Daniel Brooks reached the exit. He paused just for a moment and looked back at the chamber. His expression was calm, almost gentle, but the message was clear. Humans would not be broken by votes or insults. Then they left. Silence filled the assembly chamber. No one moved. Some aliens looked around, hoping someone would speak. Some whispered to each other. Some trembled. The humans' walkout felt different. It was not anger, it was not defeat. It was a statement, a warning without words. The Violian leader banged his clawed hands on the podium. "What does this mean?" he demanded. "They cannot leave, they have obligations, they are part of the assembly." A small voice belonging to a young delegate from a minor species spoke. Maybe they are showing us something we forgot. That humans do not follow rules set by others, that humans act only by their own choice." Others looked at him in surprise. Some shook their heads. "Impossible," they whispered. "They are a small, young species. They cannot be so strong." Daniel Brooks and the humans were now outside the chamber. They moved to their transport, which hovered silently in the docking area. No alarms sounded. No ships blocked their path. The walkout was smooth, almost effortless. Inside the transport, Daniel Brooks finally spoke. "They expect anger, resistance, maybe even begging, but they will see none of that. They cannot understand the human way." Olivia Grant nodded. "We will comply with the directive if necessary, but not as they imagine. We will do it on our own terms." Maya Collins let out a quiet breath. "I do not like being ignored. I want them to fear us." Daniel Brooks smiled faintly. "Not yet. Fear is too easy. Patience is stronger." Admiral Cole finally spoke in his low, quiet voice. "The galaxy underestimates us. That is our advantage. Let it remain that way for now." The transport left the assembly orbit quietly. Aliens below watched it disappear. Many could not understand the calm in the human faces. Some thought the humans were scared, but the opposite was true. Humans had a plan. Humans always had a plan. The Violian leader returned to the podium, furious. "They cannot ignore us. We are the assembly. They must answer." But even he began to feel doubt. The humans were not running away. They were choosing. That was far more unsettling than any threat of force. Back on Earth, President Brooks called a meeting with the human fleets. Ships from all over the solar system responded. Though small compared to galactic fleets, human ships were fast, efficient, and precise. They moved without fanfare, aligning with invisible markers in space, almost like dancers on a stage. Admiral Cole watched quietly. "Let them think we are afraid. Let them believe they control the narrative. The moment will come when they see we are not theirs to command." Olivia Grant turned to him. "How long do you think before they realize humans do not bow to votes or threats?" Cole's face remained serious. "Too late for some of them already, but it must be shown carefully. We do not destroy, we show strength." Meanwhile, reports began arriving from trade networks. Small colonies noted strange patterns. Human engineers repairing deep space stations without assembly orders. Human logistics teams organizing trade convoys in sectors the assembly had considered dangerous. From the perspective of alien spies and diplomats, it looked almost chaotic. But it was not. Every move had purpose. Every action sent a message. Humanity walks alone when necessary, and when it does, it walks with order, strength, and skill. The assembly's panic grew in subtle ways. Trade contracts delayed. Patrols rerouted. Smaller species whispered about human fleets and networks that the assembly had never acknowledged. Some began to realize that humanity was not just a new member to be controlled. They were a force that had been hiding in plain sight, waiting for a moment to act on its own terms. Daniel Brooks sat in his office aboard the human transport. He looked at the view of the assembly world below. The lights of the planet glimmered like tiny stars. He did not feel pride nor joy. He felt clarity. Humanity's path had been set. The assembly had made its choice, and the humans had made theirs. Olivia Grant entered the room, carrying reports. "Some assembly members are predicting that we will return with anger. They believe we will act rashly." Brooks shook his head. "They will wait and watch. That is all they can do. Fear is not our tool. Patience is. Let them see humans are not led by whims but by principle. That is far more terrifying than anger." Maya Collins leaned against the window. "I want them to know what they have lost. I want them to regret underestimating us." Brooks nodded slightly. "They will, in time. For now, we walk our own path, always forward, always steady." The human delegation, calm and composed, prepared to leave assembly space. Every ship, every crew, every representative moved with quiet precision. No words were spoken to threaten. No weapons were raised, yet the galaxy felt the tremor of their departure. In the assembly chamber, the Violian leader slammed his claw on the podium again. "This cannot stand. Humans cannot leave like this." The chamber erupted in debates, accusations, and fear. And still outside, the humans moved silently through space, a small fleet on its way home, leaving uncertainty and dread in the minds of everyone they passed. And in that moment, many in the galaxy realized something they had forgotten. Humans did not need permission. Humans did not need approval. Humans were not afraid of what anyone thought, and the thought of that terrified them far more than any battle, any threat, or any vote. The humans would return one day if the galaxy needed them, or if the galaxy forced them to. But when that day came, no one would underestimate them again. For now, they walked away, quietly, deliberately, and with a calm no one could break. And in that silence, the galaxy felt the first real fear it had ever known of humanity. The galaxy was in confusion after humanity's walkout from the assembly. No one knew what to expect. Some species thought humans would retreat, hide, or beg for mercy. Others feared a sudden attack, but none could predict what came next. Earth was calm, its cities gleamed in the sunlight. Human ships moved smoothly in orbit, carrying supplies, crew, and soldiers. On the surface, people continued life as usual. Yet behind the scenes, the humans were preparing in ways the galaxy could not see. President Daniel Brooks sat in a quiet room aboard a massive orbital station. He looked at the map of the galaxy, dotted with dots of trade routes, colonies, and fleets. His finger traced the lines, following the paths that many considered too dangerous. He did not worry. Humans were not afraid. They never had been. "Some assembly members think we will act quickly with anger or weapons," said Ambassador Olivia Grant, stepping into the room. She held a datapad with reports from near and far. "They believe we will respond to the vote with force, but we will not, at least not yet." Brooks nodded slowly. "They fear what they do not understand. That is our advantage. Let them imagine threats. Let them guess. We walk our own path, and they cannot stop us." Admiral Ethan Cole stood nearby. His eyes scanned the data, noticing details others missed. "Our fleets are ready," he said quietly. "We have aligned every ship, every station, every supply network. If anyone challenges us, they will find we are stronger than they believe." Maya Collins leaned against a console, her arms crossed. "They think we are small, weak, and obedient. They do not know what humans can do. I want them to see that sooner rather than later." Brooks gave her a faint smile. "Patience first, power later. Let them misjudge. Let them fear the unknown. That is the human way." Meanwhile, far away in the assembly, panic had started to spread. The Virelian hegemony called emergency meetings. Leaders argued loudly. Some demanded immediate military action against humans. Others advised caution. "They cannot just ignore us," shouted one Virelian senator, his green skin shimmering in anger. "They are part of the assembly. They must obey." A smaller species, a thin, gray creature with many eyes, shook its head. "They are not like us. They never were. They may act alone, but they will act with efficiency. If we strike now, we may regret it." Others whispered quietly. "Their fleets are bigger than we thought. Their trade networks are faster. Their engineers are everywhere. We never counted all of it." Reports arrived from the outer sectors. Ships that humans had sent out quietly were helping maintain trade routes. Colonies in dangerous regions were suddenly safe, even without assembly orders. Automated repair stations sprang to life. Human engineers moved swiftly, fixing problems that had threatened shipping for years. From the aliens' point of view, it seemed almost chaotic. How could humans act in so many places at once without orders? Yet each action had purpose. Each move sent a silent message. Humans were strong, precise, and patient. Back on Earth, Daniel Brooks called a meeting with the human fleets. Each captain, each crew member listened closely. The humans had no intention of starting a war, but they would protect themselves, their trade, and their people. "Listen carefully," Brooks said. "The Assembly has made its choice. They wish to limit us. They wish to control us. We will not allow it, but we will act in our own way, not with anger, not with destruction, but with clear power. Let them see what it means to underestimate humans." Admiral Cole nodded. "All fleets are ready. Defensive alignment is complete. We can respond to any threat. We can move anywhere. We can do more than they think possible." Olivia Grant added, "I have already sent messages to the Assembly. One sentence. We comply, but only in our way. They will understand soon enough." Brooks leaned back. "It is not for them to understand yet. Let them guess, let them worry. Humans are not controlled by votes. We are not afraid of opinions. We act with reason and precision." Meanwhile, small news from colonies began to alarm the galaxy. Human fleets were not attacking. They were moving quietly, aligning trade routes, protecting ships, and repairing stations. Some observers thought humans were foolish, exposing themselves. Others began to feel fear, though they did not yet know why. In the Perseus Expanse, a region of space known for piracy and danger, humans quietly built defensive stations. Automated drones patrolled the area, scanning for threats. Any pirate attack was neutralized before it could reach a colony. The aliens who had tried to claim the Expanse as their own began to notice. A Virelian fleet commander reported, "Their stations are fast, precise, and we cannot predict their numbers. They appear everywhere at once. They are already controlling the Expanse." Another officer whispered, "We thought humans were weak. We thought they obeyed the assembly. We were wrong. We underestimated them." Back on Earth, President Brooks reviewed the reports from the front lines. Each colony, each fleet, each repair mission ran perfectly. Nothing was wasted. Nothing failed. Humans were proving what they had always known. They could survive, they could protect, and they could act without permission. Maya Collins watched the reports with satisfaction. "I want them to feel fear," she said quietly. "Not from attack, but from knowing they cannot control us." Olivia Grant shook her head. "It is already happening. Fear grows without a word. They will realize humans are not obedient. That is far more frightening than any weapon." In the assembly, panic increased. Some leaders tried to call meetings with humans. Messages went unanswered. Fleet movements were tracked, but humans never revealed their full strength. The galaxy began to understand that humans had not relied on the assembly at all. Humans had prepared for this moment for decades. Small empires and minor systems started to reconsider their alliances. Trade contracts faltered. Assembly navies struggled without human support. Some worlds begged for help from humans. Others secretly feared humans would refuse. One young diplomat watching reports from the assembly said quietly, "They are not angry. They are not begging. They are independent. That is what terrifies us." Meanwhile, back on Earth, Admiral Cole supervised fleet exercises. Ships moved through space like clockwork. Each pilot knew their role perfectly. Each fleet understood the strategy without confusion. Aliens might have assumed humans were reckless or emotional. They were wrong. Humans were precise, careful, and deadly if needed. Daniel Brooks addressed the fleet through a hologram. "The galaxy expects us to act with anger. They expect us to beg or obey, but we do neither. We act with patience, with clarity, and with purpose. Our strength lies in our choice. Let them guess what we will do next. That is our power." At the same time, Ambassador Olivia Grant sent encrypted messages to the assembly. Each message was calm, polite, and precise. The words were simple: humanity acknowledges the directive and will act independently. No aggression, no complaints, just facts. But even in simplicity, the message carried a warning. Humans would no longer be controlled or limited. They would protect themselves, their trade, and their people. The galaxy felt it, even if no weapon had been fired. In the outer sectors, reports came of humans quietly taking control of dangerous routes. Stations were repaired, ships were escorted, pirates were stopped. It seemed invisible, subtle, almost like magic. Aliens could not understand it, and that made it more frightening. A small conference of assembly leaders gathered in secret. They whispered, afraid to speak loudly. "They move faster than we expected," said one. "They act without our permission, but nothing fails. Every fleet, every station, every convoy runs perfectly." Another added, "We thought we limited them. We thought we controlled them. We were wrong, terribly wrong." Back on Earth, President Brooks looked at the stars. "We have shown them patience," he said. "We have shown them power without aggression. Soon they will understand humans are not led by votes or orders. We are led by choice and principle. That is far stronger than fear or weapons." Maya Collins smiled faintly. "I like that. Let them guess. Let them worry. Let them feel the small fear of not knowing." Olivia Grant nodded. "It is already happening. We do not need to act violently. Fear grows quietly when they see our calm, our precision, and our independence." Admiral Cole finally spoke, his voice low but firm. "The galaxy underestimates us. That is our advantage. Let it remain so, but we are ready, always ready. If anyone acts against us, they will regret it." In the assembly, a Virelian senator slammed his fist on the table. "They cannot ignore us. They cannot act alone." But deep down, even he knew, humans had already acted. They had moved quietly, efficiently, and with purpose. Their walkout was not a retreat. It was a beginning. Humans had left the assembly not out of anger, not out of weakness, but out of understanding. They would comply with the rules, but only on their own terms. They would protect their people. They would secure trade routes. They would repair stations. They would act everywhere the galaxy needed them, and all without asking permission. And slowly, a truth spread. The galaxy began to realize that humans were not weak. Humans were not obedient. Humans were patient, precise, and powerful in ways the galaxy had forgotten to consider. Every fleet movement, every trade convoy, every repaired station reminded the galaxy of one thing: humans could survive and thrive on their own. And the thought of a patient, independent human civilization was far more terrifying than any attack or threat. From the edge of known space, a young alien officer whispered, almost to himself, "They do not act violently, but we cannot stop them. They are unstoppable in ways we cannot understand." On Earth, President Brooks looked at the stars and smiled faintly. "Let them fear what they do not see. Let them guess our strength. That is all we need for now. The galaxy will learn respect without blood. That is how humans act. That is how we survive." The humans continued their quiet work. Trade routes were secured, colonies were protected, stations repaired, fleets aligned. Everywhere the assembly thought they controlled humans, they were reminded that humans had never needed control at all. And in that quiet, patient way, the galaxy began to understand that humans were not ordinary. Humans were precise, clever, and strong beyond imagination. And the moment they finally acted openly, the entire galaxy would feel the full force of their presence. But for now, humans walked quietly, calmly, and deliberately, and the galaxy waited uneasy, not knowing what would happen next. The fear was not loud. It was not sudden. It was subtle, slow, and deep, and it was far more powerful than any weapon. The humans had walked out. The galaxy had panicked, but the story had only begun. The galaxy was starting to change, though few realized it yet. Human ships moved quietly across space, protecting trade routes, repairing stations, and observing colonies. Nothing was flashy. No battles were fought. No loud speeches were made. Yet everywhere humans touched, the galaxy felt it. On Earth, President Daniel Brooks stood on the observation deck of the largest orbital station. He looked at the galaxy displayed on the wide holoscreen before him. Dots of colonies, fleets, and trade routes blinked like tiny lights. Every dot had a meaning. Every movement had a purpose. Admiral Ethan Cole stood behind him. He never spoke much, but when he did, it was important. "We have completed all alignments," he said. "Fleets, stations, supply lines, everything is ready. If anyone tests us, they will find we are more than capable." Olivia Grant walked into the room. She carried reports from distant colonies. "They do not understand. The Assembly believes we walk alone because we are small, because we obey no rules. They do not see that we never needed to obey. We act and the galaxy adjusts around us." Maya Collins leaned against the railing, watching the stars. "I want them to realize that humans are patient. That patience is dangerous when they misjudge us." Brooks smiled faintly. "Patience is stronger than anger. Let them fear what they do not see. Let them guess our strength. That is enough." Meanwhile, far from Earth, the galaxy was beginning to panic. Ships of other species moved cautiously. Fleets that had long patrolled the outer sectors hesitated. Some worlds tried to strengthen alliances. Others quietly prepared defenses, unsure if humans would act violently or not. Reports began coming in. Humans were repairing ancient stations that even the Assembly had forgotten. Trade convoys that had been attacked months ago were now fully safe under human supervision. Pirates that had thrived for decades suddenly found no targets. A Virelian commander scowled at the reports. "They move everywhere. They control the expanse. We cannot predict their fleet numbers. We cannot guess their plans. They are everywhere at once." Another officer shook his head. "We believed we limited them. We thought they depended on us. We were wrong. They do not follow anyone. They do as they choose. And they do it with order and precision. That is terrifying." Back on Earth, Brooks convened a meeting with the human fleets. Every captain, every officer, every crew member listened carefully. The humans had no desire for war. They had no need for conflict. Yet they would act decisively if anyone threatened them. "Listen," Brooks said. "The Assembly has tried to control us. They have tried to limit us. We will not submit, but we will act in our own way, not with anger, not with destruction, but with clear purpose. Every fleet, every station, every convoy has a role. Do it well. Do it precisely. Let the galaxy see what humans can do without orders." Admiral Cole nodded. "All fleets are in position. Defensive and patrol alignments are complete. If anyone tests us, they will learn that humans are stronger than they believe." Olivia Grant added, I have already sent updates to the Assembly. They are simple, factual, and calm. Humanity acknowledges the directive, but we will act independently. No aggression, just facts. But even in simplicity, they understand a warning. Maya Collins smiled. It is already working. They fear not our weapons, but our choices. That is the power of humans. In the Perseus expanse, the galaxy's most dangerous region, humans quietly built defensive networks. Automated drones patrolled trade routes. Ancient stations, damaged long ago, were repaired with speed and precision. Pirates attempted attacks but were stopped before they could reach any colony. It seemed almost invisible. A young alien observer whispered, "They are not attacking, yet they control everything. They are impossible to fight without starting a war, and they do not start wars." In the assembly, panic grew. Leaders tried to call meetings with humans, but messages went unanswered. Fleets were tracked, but humans never revealed their true strength. The galaxy began to understand that humans had never relied on the assembly. They had prepared quietly, steadily, and perfectly for this moment. Smaller empires began to reconsider their positions. Trade contracts were delayed, patrols were rerouted. Some worlds begged humans for help while secretly fearing refusal. A young diplomat whispered to his superior, "They act without aggression, yet they cannot be controlled. That is what terrifies me." Back on Earth, Brooks observed the galaxy with a calm expression. "We have shown them patience," he said. "We have shown them power without aggression. Soon they will understand humans are not led by votes or commands. We are led by choice and principle. That is far stronger than anger or weapons." Maya Collins added, "Let them guess, let them worry, let them feel the fear of uncertainty." Olivia Grant nodded. "It is already happening. They see our fleets, they see our stations, they see our trade. And still they do not know our full strength. Fear grows quietly in those moments. That is far more powerful than any attack." Admiral Cole spoke, his voice low and steady. "The galaxy underestimates us. That is our advantage. Let it remain, but we are ready, always ready. If anyone challenges us, they will regret it." In the assembly, the Virelian leader slammed his claw on the table. "They cannot ignore us. They cannot act alone. They must obey." But deep inside, even he knew the truth. Humans had acted already. They had moved quietly, efficiently, and with purpose. Their walkout had not been retreat. It had been a beginning. Humans had left the assembly not in anger, not out of weakness, but with understanding. They would comply if necessary, but only on their own terms. They would protect trade routes, secure colonies, repair stations, and act everywhere needed, all without permission. The galaxy slowly began to realize the truth. Humans were not small. Humans were not obedient. Humans were patient, precise, and powerful beyond imagination. And the moment they revealed their full strength, the galaxy would tremble. Every fleet movement, every convoy, every repair mission sent the same message. Humans did not need orders. Humans did not wait for permission. Humans acted with calm efficiency, and that efficiency was terrifying. A young alien officer at the edge of known space whispered, "They do not act violently, yet we cannot stop them. They are unstoppable." On Earth, Brooks looked at the stars and smiled. "Let them fear what they cannot see. Let them guess our strength. That is enough. The galaxy will learn respect without blood. That is how humans act. That is how we survive." Maya Collins looked out at the stars. "I like that. Let them guess. Let them worry. Let them feel the fear of not knowing." Olivia Grant nodded. "It is already happening. They see our calm, our precision, our independence, and they fear it. That is more powerful than any attack." Admiral Cole spoke once more, quietly but firmly. "We are prepared for anything. Let them underestimate us. That is our strength. But if they act against us, they will see what humans can do." From the far reaches of space, alien fleets watched humans move. Ships appeared where none were expected. Stations were repaired without notice. Trade convoys reached their destinations safely. Every move was precise, efficient, and carefully planned. And everywhere humans acted, fear followed. Not the fear of attack, not the fear of violence. The fear of being powerless against a species that could act anywhere, anytime, without permission, without mistakes. The Virelian leader called another emergency meeting. "We cannot control them," he shouted. "We cannot predict them. Every fleet, every colony, every station is under their control. They are not obedient. They are independent, and we are unprepared." In secret, other species whispered the same thing. "We underestimated humans. We believed they followed rules. We believed they obeyed orders. We were wrong, terribly wrong." Back on Earth, Brooks addressed his fleet through a hologram. "We do not strike unless needed. We do not attack without reason, but we are ready for anything. The galaxy will see the strength of humans when necessary. Until then, we act quietly, precisely, and with purpose. Let them guess, let them fear. That is all we need for now." Humans continued their work. Trade routes remained secure. Colonies were protected. Stations repaired. Fleets moved in formation, invisible, precise. And slowly, the galaxy began to understand that humans were not ordinary. Humans were clever, patient, and strong. And the moment they finally acted openly, the entire galaxy would see their full power. But for now, humans moved quietly, deliberately, and calmly. And the galaxy waited, uneasy, uncertain, and afraid. Fear was not loud, it was not sudden. It was quiet, deep, and growing, and it was far more powerful than any weapon. Humans had walked out, the galaxy had panicked, but the story had only begun. The moment of true revelation was yet to come. Months passed since humanity walked out of the assembly. The galaxy had not calmed. Trade routes were quiet, but rumors spread faster than light. Small empires whispered about humans controlling colonies they had never visited. Fleets appeared where none were expected. Stations repaired themselves, or crews found human engineers already waiting, quietly fixing problems. The assembly had called many emergency meetings. They tried to reach humans, to negotiate, to demand answers. Every message was met with the same response, calm, precise, and without submission. Humanity acted as if the assembly did not exist. They complied only on their own terms, quietly, without fanfare. On Earth, President Daniel Brooks looked at the holographic map of the galaxy. Lines of trade, colonies, and fleet positions stretched across the screen. Each dot moved with precision. Every fleet, every convoy, every station operated exactly as it should. Admiral Ethan Cole stood nearby, watching silently. "They do not see the full picture," he said. "They track fleets, they watch stations, but they cannot see the depth of our preparation. That is our advantage." Olivia Grant stepped forward, her eyes sharp. "They will understand soon. Their fear grows quietly. They see efficiency and calm. That is stronger than weapons. That is the human power they cannot measure." Maya Collins leaned against a console. "I like that. Let them worry, let them wonder, let them feel small." Brooks smiled faintly. "Patience always comes first. When they finally understand, the galaxy will remember this day." In the assembly, panic had grown to fear. The Virelians were angry and desperate. Smaller species begged for reassurances. Fleets that had once been confident moved cautiously. Trade networks slowed. Every system that had relied on the assembly began to realize something. Humans were not dependent. Humans acted alone, but effectively everywhere they were needed. A young diplomat whispered to his superior, "They are everywhere. Their fleets, their stations, their engineers, we cannot predict them. They act quietly but perfectly. We underestimated them." The Virelian leader slammed his claws on the table. "We cannot allow this. They must return to the assembly. They must obey." But deep inside, even he knew it was too late. Humans had acted already. Their fleets were aligned. Their stations repaired. Their trade routes secured. The galaxy was adjusting around them, whether it wanted to or not. Back on Earth, Brooks called a meeting with the human fleets. Ships floated in orbit, their designs simple but efficient. Massive cruisers, stealth carriers, and fast patrol vessels moved with silent precision. They were ready for anything, but there was no urgency. Humanity had time, and they always acted with reason. "Listen carefully," Brooks said. "The assembly has made its choice. They tried to control us. They tried to limit us. We will not obey, we will not beg, but we will act in our own way. Every fleet, every station, every convoy has a role. Perform it well, perform it precisely. Let the galaxy see what humans can do quietly, without anger, without destruction." Admiral Cole nodded. "All fleets are ready. Defensive and patrol alignments are complete. If anyone tests us, they will find humans stronger than they believed." Olivia Grant added, "We have sent updates to the assembly. Calm, simple messages. Humanity acknowledges the directive and acts independently. No aggression, but they know what it means. They fear it." Maya Collins smiled faintly. "It is already working. They fear the choice humans can make." In the Perseus expanse, where pirates and rogue fleets once ruled, humans had built defensive networks quietly. Automated drones patrolled trade routes. Stations that had been abandoned for decades were repaired and reactivated. Pirates attempted attacks but found no openings. Humans did not attack, but they made every move precise, predictable, and perfect. A young alien officer whispered to his superior, "They do not strike, but we cannot stop them. They are everywhere. They act with purpose, and we cannot predict it." Meanwhile, in the assembly, smaller species began to see the truth. Humanity had never relied on the assembly. They had always acted independently, quietly, and effectively. Fleet movements, stations, and trade convoys had all been under human control without interference. "They are not small," whispered a diplomat. "They are not obedient. They are precise, efficient, and everywhere. And we cannot stop them." Brooks observed the reports with calm satisfaction. "They fear what they cannot see," he said. "They fear not our weapons, but our choice. Let them guess our strength. That is enough for now." Months of quiet preparation passed. Then the assembly sent a request for a private summit. Humans could attend. On Earth, Brooks spoke to his advisors. "We will attend, but not to beg or obey. We will go to clarify terms to show the galaxy that humans act only by choice, and we will do it calmly, without threats." "But they will understand." Admiral Cole said, "Our fleets are aligned. If anyone tests us, they will see. But we do not start conflicts. We wait. We act when necessary." Olivia Grant nodded. "The galaxy is already uneasy. They will understand our terms without words." The summit will only make it clear. At the summit, alien leaders gathered, anxious and uncertain. They had expected anger, complaints, or protests. Instead, the human delegation arrived calmly. No weapons were raised. No speeches threatened war. Humans walked in quietly, deliberately. Daniel Brooks spoke first, his voice steady and clear. "We are here to clarify. Humanity walks independently. We will not accept limits imposed by others. Any alliance must be voluntary, reciprocal, and respectful. We protect our people, our trade, and our colonies. That is our choice, nothing more, nothing less." Olivia Grant added, "We do not threaten, we do not beg, we act responsibly, but we act on our terms. That is how humans have always lived. That is how we survive in the galaxy." Maya Collins stood beside them. "If humans are to join alliances, it is with respect and equality, not with control or oversight. That is our message." For the first time, alien leaders looked at humans and realized the truth. Their calm, precise, and quiet actions had already proven it. Humans did not need permission. Humans did not beg. Humans acted on their own. Outside the summit chamber, through the windows, massive human fleets waited. Thousands of ships formed silent lines in orbit around Earth. Aliens had underestimated humans. They had believed the fleets were small. They had believed humans obeyed the assembly. They had been wrong. The Virelian leader's claws tightened on the table. "They are calm, they do not threaten, and yet look at their fleets. How many are there? How powerful? We cannot match them." Smaller species whispered to each other, realizing their previous arrogance. Humans were not reckless, they were precise. They were patient. And now the galaxy finally understood that patience was a weapon. Daniel Brooks looked at the galaxy through the summit window. "We do not seek to conquer, we do not seek to destroy, but humanity will never accept subjugation. That is our principle, that is our power, that is our strength." Admiral Cole added, "If anyone acts against us, they will face a force they cannot predict. But we do not act first, we wait, we act with reason." Olivia Grant concluded, "The assembly should understand humanity walks its own path. We cooperate where it is wise, we defend where it is needed, but we bow to no one. That is our way." The alien leaders felt the weight of truth. Humanity's calm and clarity spoke louder than any weapon. Their fleets, their trade networks, their repaired colonies, all moved in perfect order. No one had challenged them, yet the galaxy had already adjusted to their presence. A young alien aide whispered quietly, almost afraid to speak, "They do not threaten, and yet we cannot control them. They are unstoppable if we try." Outside, the stars reflected on the calm ocean of human ships. Thousands of vessels, each perfectly aligned, each ready but waiting. Waiting to act only when necessary, not out of anger, not out of fear, but out of choice. Brooks turned to his team. "We have shown patience. We have shown power quietly. We have shown that humanity acts on principle, not command. That is enough for now. The galaxy knows. The message is clear." The summit ended. Humans left calmly. No threats were made. No displays of violence occurred. Yet every alien present understood the truth. Humans were not to be controlled. Humans acted independently, with precision and with purpose. And behind them, Earth's fleets remained in silent formation. Aliens could see them, count them, and still not grasp their full strength. The galaxy realized, finally, that the most terrifying thing about humans was not their aggression, but their patience. Not their weapons, but their calm. Not their numbers, but their choice. Back on Earth, Brooks addressed his people. The galaxy has seen our patience. The galaxy has seen our power. We act with reason, with precision, and with principle. We walk our own path. That is humanity. That is our strength. That is our future. Maya Collins smiled. They finally understand. Fear is growing without a single shot fired. That is more powerful than any weapon we could use. Olivia Grant added, calm, careful action is stronger than chaos. Humans have shown that, and the galaxy knows it now. Admiral Cole looked at the fleets. They will never underestimate us again, and that is the point. Strength is not shown through attack. Strength is shown through patience, planning, and principle. From the edges of the galaxy, alien fleets watched the stars. They whispered of humans who walked out of the assembly, of fleets that appeared everywhere at once, of trade routes that never failed, of colonies protected quietly. They realized their mistake. They realized humanity's power, and they feared it deeply, silently, completely. Humans had walked out once. They had been calm. They had been precise. They had been patient. And when they walked back in, the galaxy had no doubt. If humans ever walked out again, no one could survive without them. And that was far more terrifying than any weapon. Far more terrifying than any fleet. Far more terrifying than any threat. The galaxy had learned a lesson. Humans were patient. Humans were precise. Humans acted on principle, and that made them unstoppable. And humanity would never stop walking its own path.